So today we're going to just work through a full body restoration, which basically means we're just trying to work through activation exercises, mobility exercises, make us feel better, and also help to make us move better. The entire routine will be standing, and I have a large foam roller here just for some support in some of the exercises. A chair or also a wall would help suffice in regards to giving support when we get to those exercises. I also have a yoga block and a yoga strap, which will help when we get over working through the neck and through the thoracic spine. And for today's class, what we'll do is basically we're going to segment the body. We're going to work through the legs first, we're going to work through the arms second, and then finally come to the spine last. So again, we got a large foam roller for support, a yoga block, yoga strap, and then we'll get started with some breathing exercises, diaphragmatic breathing, just to help relax the body a little bit more and also to help activate the inner core. So what I'd like you to do is just go ahead and stand and bring your hands to your belly, and then as you inhale, try to inflate your belly as big as you possibly can, and then on the exhale, just let the breath go, feel free to sigh. We'll do this 3 times. So let's go ahead and breathe into the belly, huge breath in. And then exhale, just let it go, feel free to sigh. Great, we'll do that a couple more times. So big breath into the belly, as big as you possibly can. And then exhale, just let it go, feel free to sigh. And then one more time. Big breath into the belly. And then exhale, just let it go. Great. So now we're going to continue to breathe into the belly, but on the exhale, I'd like you to try to make your exhale long so that we have enough time to try to coach these lower ribs to collapse in towards the spine. We're trying to activate the obliques and the intercostal muscles. We're trying to eliminate any rib cage flare that typically occurs because we sit a lot. Okay? So we'll start by breathing into the belly first. And then place your hands on your lower ribs, exhale, and try to coach those lower ribs to collapse in towards your spine the best that they possibly can. Good, we'll do this 2 more times. So again, breathe into your belly first. Then hands on the lower ribs, trying to coach those lower ribs to collapse in towards the spine, and just do the best that you can there. Good, 1 more time. Big breath into your belly. And then exhale, coach those lower ribs to collapse in. Great. So then let's add on something. On the exhale, let's try to make the exhale as long as possible. And when we get to the end of the exhale, I'd like you to just try to squeeze a little bit more breath out. That's going to activate your transverse abdominis even more, which is great because that's going to lead to better stability of the spine. Okay. So once again, we'll breathe into the belly to start with. So big breath in. Coach those lower ribs to collapse in and try to get the longest breath out. And then at the end of your breath, try to squeeze a little bit more air out. Excellent. And hopefully you feel those transverse abdominis muscles turn on. Okay, we'll do that 2 more times. So big breath into your belly. Long exhale out. Coach those lower ribs to collapse in. At the end of your exhale, try to squeeze a little bit more air out. Excellent. Let's do it 1 last time. Again, big breath into your belly. Nice long breath out, coaching those lower ribs to collapse in. At the end, squeeze that breath out a little bit more. Excellent. Okay, great. So then let's breathe in 4 different positions so that we open up the torso a little bit more. So we'll start with a forward fold. So what I'd like you to do is just place your hands on your thighs and just start to slide your hands down your legs as far as you can. If you can take your hands off, then go ahead, hold on to the elbows. Alternatively, just keep your hands on your legs for support. Once we're here, let's go ahead and slowly just nod the head yes 3 times. So you're tucking your chin, trying to look into your heart, and then slowly looking at the floor. As you're nodding your head, just go really slow. We're just giving your neck an opportunity to start to release some tension. Excellent. And then after we've done these slow nods, let's go ahead and just shake no 3 times. Same thing, go nice and slow.
And just take your chin from one shoulder to the other shoulder. We're just trying to get some tension out of your neck here so that your head can really just hang towards the ground. Good, and then go ahead, bring your head back to center here. And now we're going to take your hips and shift your hips to the right slowly, and then shift the hips to the left slowly. It doesn't have to be a big shift, just a little bit of a shift to the right and a little bit shift to the left. And if you start to feel different pulls of tension or stretching through the backs of your legs and your back, that's great. And maybe try this during the week, especially if you spend a lot of time sitting at a desk. Good, then let's bring the hips to center and let's go back to our breathing. So 3 deep breaths here. Again, we're going to breathe into the belly as big as possible. And then nice long exhale out. At the end of your exhale, try to squeeze a little bit more air out if you can. Good, we'll do that 2 more times. Again, breathe into the belly, huge breath in, and then nice long breath out. At the end of your exhale, squeeze a little bit more air out if you can. And we'll just do it 1 more time. Big breath into your belly, nice long breath out. At the end of your exhale, try to squeeze a little bit more air out. Great. Now let's slowly roll up the spine, so just start to rotate the pelvis. And as you're rolling up, try to stack one vertebrae on top of the other and come up nice and slow, lifting up your chin last. Great. So then we'll go into spinal extension. We'll lean back, but we're going to create a hand bridge for the lower back. So I'd like you to take the heel of your palm, place it on your lowest rib, like so, and have your fingers touching your pelvis so that you're connecting rib cage to pelvis here. And then we'll squeeze the shoulder blades together and just lean back with the shoulders. If you can keep your eyes looking at the horizon, that's better. That's going to keep your neck from going into hyperextension. And then once we're here, we'll do the same thing with the breathing. So 3 deep breaths in. So breathe into your belly as big as possible. Then nice long breath out. At the end of your exhale, try to squeeze a little bit more air. Good. We'll do that 2 more times. Again, big breath in. And then exhales, long breath out. At the end of your exhale, try to squeeze a little bit more air out. Perfect. 1 more time. Big breath in. And then long exhale out. At the end of your exhale, squeeze a little bit more air out if you can. Excellent. And then slowly shift back to neutral. Great. So let's go ahead, let's grab our support object, and let's do a lateral flexion here. And we'll also put your hip into abduction. So we're going to take the leg, we're going to step across and behind. It's going to open up the side of the hip and also the side of the thigh. And then we'll take the same side arm, reach up and over like so. Really opening up this whole torso here. And then we'll just do our 3 breaths here. So we're going to take a huge breath into your belly. Nice long breath out. At the end of your exhale, just try to squeeze a little bit more air out. Perfect. We'll do that 2 more times. And if you can reach through the fingers a little bit more, so reach for the horizon with those top fingers if you can. Okay, long breath out here. At the end of your exhale, try to squeeze a little bit more air out. Good, and we'll do it 1 more time. Big breath into your belly. Nice long breath out. At the end, just try to squeeze a little bit more air out. Perfect. Then we'll come out of that and we'll switch sides. Okay, so again, we're going to step the leg behind and across as far as possible. Then reach up and over. And then we'll start our breathing from here. Okay, so big breath into your belly. Nice long breath out. Really try to squeeze the breath out a little bit more at the end of your exhale. Good, we'll do that 2 more times. So big breath in. Nice long breath out. At the end, just try to squeeze a little bit more air out if you can. And 1 more time. Big breath in. Nice long breath out. And maybe try to reach through those fingers a little bit more this time. Excellent. And then we'll come on out of that. Great. Okay, so hopefully you feel a lot more relaxed and maybe a little more open through the torso. And that's going to be a great transition for us now to focus on the legs here. We'll start with the toes. We'll do our toe articulations here. So what I'd like you to do is just try to pick up your big toe up as high as possible and then set it down. Try to keep the 4 outside toes completely flat. Just try to pick the big toe up as high as possible and set it down. Okay? And as long as you're trying to lift only the big toe, you're doing the exercise. Toes are not always cooperative, so if the other toes are trying to peel up, it's okay. Just do the best that you can. Good, let's do one more, and then we'll set it down. Okay, so then we'll do the opposite. We'll keep the big toe down, lift the 4 outside toes up as high as possible, and set them down. Okay? Excellent. If you could also splay those 4 toes, that's even better. Trying to lift those 4 toes up and splay them, spread them, that'd be great. We'll just do one more time here. Excellent. Good, so we're going to do a different variation of this exercise. We're going to lift all the toes up now. Then we're going to take the big toe and we're going to press it down into the floor and lift it back up. It's as if you're trying to literally press a button with the big toe, and you're trying to keep the 4 outside toes up off the ground. Good, just do the best that you can with it, and as long as you're trying to move only the big toe, you're doing the exercise. Good, let's do one more here. Perfect. And now we'll do the 4 outside toes. So the big toe stays up, the 4 outside toes come down and up, down and up. Excellent. And again, as long as you're just trying to do the exercise as prescribed, you're doing the exercise. Okay? Let's do one more time here. Perfect. Good, so then let's have all the toes down. Let's wave the toes up one at a time and then wave them down. We'll start with the big toe. We'll go from big toe to little toe trying to wave them up and then wave them down. Good. Now just do the best that you can to make each toe move individually. And again, it's more of a mental exercise. Like your intention in this exercise is really the most important aspect of it. Since we wear shoes a lot, your toes will not always be cooperative. And if your toes are cooperative, great. If they're not, then I recommend doing this exercise a lot more during the week. Even if you are wearing shoes, you can do these in your shoes if there's enough space in your shoes. Good, let's reverse it. Let's work from the little toe to the big toe, waving up and waving down. Nice and slowly, just trying to be as specific as possible, moving one toe at a time. And again, it's okay if the toes are clumping together and they're not necessarily cooperating, as long as your intention is there. Good, one more time here. Excellent. Good. From there, let's then focus on the ankles. Let's roll to the outside edges of your feet and then roll to the inside edges of your feet. So your knees will be going outwards and then inwards. Good. And now as you're rolling or making these transitions, I'd like you to go nice and slow and try to be smooth. This is ankle inversion and eversion. And what we want to do is we want to try to get as far as we can into each and then slowly transition to the other position. We're just trying to help develop more motor control at the ankle joint for more ankle stability. Good. We'll do it one more time here. Out and then in. Because in our next exercise, we'll still be doing that same movement. What I'd like you to do is bring your feet outside shoulder width. We're going to do some knee circles here. We'll bring our hands to our knees, and then we'll slowly start to draw a nice big circle here. And you'll notice that your foot wants to roll in and out. Let it. In fact, exaggerate the foot roll. That's going to help you to make a bigger knee circle. Good. Now, as we're doing these knee circles, just go a little bit slower than what your body wants to do right now. Your body won't want to move at a certain pace in order to conserve energy. Let's slow it down so we spend more time in these positions and we develop more resiliency and strength for all these positions, which will then help our knees and ankles. Good, let's change direction now. Again, keep exaggerating that foot roll. So trying to roll to the outside edge of your foot, trying to roll to the inside edge of your foot. That will make the knee circle bigger. And if you could also sit the hips down a little bit more, that will create more knee flexion too, which is always a good thing to get into the exercise. We'll do one more here. Perfect. And then we'll stand up.
We'll bring the feet together. We'll do these circles again, but this time we're going to try to keep the feet flat on the floor. So imagine that the four corners of your foot are tattooed into the ground. Bring your hands to your knees, and then start to make circles here. Now if your foot starts to move, it's okay. Just try to keep the foot as stable as possible. And then try to make a nice big circle with your knee. Same thing as the last version. We want to go a little bit slower than what your body wants to, how your body wants to move, so that we develop a little bit more resiliency and strength in all these positions. Good. Let's change direction. Let's go the other way. And this time, let's see if we could sit the hips down a little bit more. Get a little bit more knee flexion involved. Excellent. Can you check in with your feet right now? Can you see if your feet are really stable? If they're moving, it's okay. As long as your intention to keep the feet nice and stable is there, you're doing the exercise. Good. Let's do one more here. Perfect. And then we'll stand up, and then we'll focus on the pelvis. Okay. What I'd like you to do is imagine you're wearing a belt. All right, and let's turn the belt buckle up towards your chin, then down towards the floor. Turning it up, turning it down, feeling how those abdominal muscles are crunching. Excellent. Good. Now, if you could also keep your rib cage and your shoulders nice and still, just really use those abdominal muscles, help turn that belt buckle up and then down. And we'll do this 2 more times. Excellent. Good. So then what we'll do is we'll shift the hips from side to side, but we're going to try to keep the rib cage and the shoulders still. So if you have a mirror where you can see yourself doing this exercise, that's ideal. We want to make sure that the rib cage doesn't move and it's just the hips going from side to side. So we're articulating the lumbar spine and the hip sockets. Excellent. Good, let's do one more. And then let's twist the hips. So imagine you have that belt buckle on. Turn the belt buckle to your right as far as you can, but keep your shoulders still. And then come on back. And then to the left as far as you can. And then come on back. Good, we'll do this a few more times. Really try to twist the hips as far as you can to each side while trying to keep the shoulders nice and still. Hopefully you feel a spiral energy through your legs all the way down to your 10 toes. Okay? And the more that you could actually feel the ground with your feet and your toes, the more control you have over your pelvis while doing this exercise. Good, let's do one more to each side. Let's just try to go a little bit further each way. And then the other side. Excellent. Good. So after that, we're going to take the hip, we're going to try to move the hip front and back as far as possible. We're going to add a little extra stretch at the end. So what I'd like you to do is go ahead, push your hips backwards as far as you can. And then at the very end, keep pushing your hips back for 1 full second. Good, and then we'll stand up and then we'll do the opposite. We'll push the hips forward as far as possible and then keep pushing the hips forward for 1 full second. Good, let's try that again. Hips going back, so hip flexion, you're hinging, and then you keep reaching the tailbone back for 1 full second, and then we'll stand up. And then we'll hip extension, push the hips forward, and keep pushing the hips forward for 1 full second. Good, let's do it one more time each way. So hips going back, keep reaching back for 1 full second, and then we'll stand up nice and tall. And then push the hips forward, keep pushing the hips forward for 1 full second. Excellent. Good, so then let's take the hips from side to side, and this time we'll allow our shoulders to do a counter movement. So we're going to push the hips to the right as far as possible and keep pushing them out for 1 full second. And then we'll come back to center, and then we'll go to the left, keep pushing the hips out for 1 full second, and back to center. Good. Let's do it again. Let's see if we can go a little bit further. So going to the right, and keep pressing out for 1 full second, and then we'll come back, and going to the left, keep pressing out for 1 full second, and we'll come back. Good. One more time each side. Try to stay nice and tall through your spine as you're doing this. So hips to the right for 1 full second, and then come on back. And then hips to the left as far as you can for 1 full second, and come on back. Good. So now let's try to connect those 4 positions, and we'll make nice big circles with the hips. So we'll push the hips forward, then slide the hips out to the side, then reach the hips back as far as you can, and then out to the other side, and then push the hips forward again. Once you come back to that starting position, change directions, and we'll go back to the side you just came from. We'll slide the hips back, and then out to the other side, and then coming forward. Good, let's do it again. Let's try to go a little bit slower like the knee circles. So your body will want to move at a certain pace. Let's slow it down so you're just spending a little bit more time in all of these different positions, developing more resiliency and more strength for those positions. Good, and then we'll go in the other direction, same thing. Trying to slow down just a tad as we make this nice big circle. Good, one more time around. Let's try to expand the circle a little bit more, but expand all the way around the circles through, so 360 degrees around. Just ask for a little bit more range of motion all the way around the circle, and take your time with it. And if you spend a lot of time sitting at a desk, this is a really great exercise. Really helps to expose your hips to different positions, and helps different muscles to get a little stronger, which then just leads to better mobility and stability of your hip. Okay, bring it back, and just again, trying to get a little bit bigger all the way around the circle. Excellent. Perfect. So now that we've activated the lower body, let's do a similar sequence for the upper body. We're going to start with the fingers. So I'd like you to reach your hands out, spread your fingers. We'll articulate one finger at a time. Let's start with the thumbs. Let's bring the thumbs in and out for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. And now index finger down and up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. And then middle finger down and up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then ring finger down and up, trying to keep the other fingers as still as possible. 3, 2, and 1. And then finally the pinky down and up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Perfect. Let's shake out our wrists, and then we're going to do some wrist circles next. And what I'd like you to do is hold on to your forearm with the opposite hand. We don't want the forearm to move. And then what I like to do is make a fist. And with your knuckles, you're going to try to draw the biggest circle possible, but nice and slowly. Okay, what's really important is that your forearm stays still. So we're trying to dissociate the hand from the forearm. So the hand's moving, but the forearm is not. We're just trying to go through the biggest circle possible. If you spend a lot of time typing, this is a really great exercise to do. It helps to restore range of motion and also helps to loosen up tight muscles in your forearms that will develop from typing. Let's go the other direction right now. Okay? And same thing with the hips. So as we're making these circles, we want to try to expand the circle 360 degrees around the circle. So every part of the circle, just ask for a little bit more, a hair more all the way around. Good, we'll do one more in this direction, and then we'll switch wrists. Great. So same thing with the other wrist, okay? So grab the forearm, make a fist, and go ahead and start to make a nice big circle with those knuckles, making sure that your forearm stays nice and still. Good, and if you feel any clicking going on in your wrist, just go slower through those areas. The clicking is really just how your muscles and your brain are not on the same page and how to coordinate or move the bones together. So they start to click together. Okay? But the slower you go, the more you give your opportunity for your muscles and your brain to work together to figure out how to coordinate the movement of those bones. Let's change direction. Let's go the other way. Okay. Trying to, again, make the circle a little bit bigger all the way around the circle. So 360 degrees. Just try to make it a little bit bigger. And keep the movement nice and slow.
Good, we'll do one more here. Excellent. You could also do that same exercise with a flat hand, which is a little bit more challenging because your fingers will always want to curl, okay? Okay, so then let's focus on the elbows. So elbows really don't get a lot of attention when we come to these classes, and unless you're doing bicep curls, elbows hardly get any attention. So we'll give the elbows some attention right here. What I'd like you to do is imagine that you're holding a newspaper underneath your arm here. So your upper arm is trying to squeeze the newspaper into your ribs. That's going to help keep that upper arm nice and still. Then I'd like you to turn your palms out as far as you can. Good. Next, slowly bend your elbows and try to bring the palms all the way towards your shoulders as far as you can. Once you're there, slowly turn those palms in the opposite direction as far as possible, and then we're going to slowly extend down. Good. Try to straighten your arms all the way here, and then once your arms are nice and straight, let's do it again. Slowly rotate those palms out as far as possible, and then slowly bend those elbows. Pull the palm all the way up towards your shoulders. Squeeze at the very top. And then rotate those palms out, and then we'll extend the elbow, straighten the arm. Good, let's do it one more time. So turn those palms all the way as far as you can, slowly coming up. At the very top, squeeze, 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 and keep squeezing as you try to turn those palms all the way over, and then slowly extend all the way down. Perfect. So now we're just going to reverse the pattern. So on the bottom here, your palms are facing back. We're going to slowly bend your elbows here and try to bring the backs of your hands towards your shoulders. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze here, and then rotate the palms all the way around. Good. And then slowly extend and try to drive the back of your hands backwards as you straighten your elbows. Good. And then here we'll rotate your palms again. And then slowly bend those elbows. Nice and slowly at the very top, squeeze, 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 and then we'll rotate those palms to face backwards. And then we'll extend the elbows again. Good, try to extend those elbows nice and straight, and then we'll rotate one more time here. And then we'll slowly bend. Try to bring the backs of your hands up into your shoulders the best that you can. Keep squeezing them in as you rotate your palms to face backwards. And then finally, we'll extend the elbows one last time. Excellent, good. So we've been very specific with how we're organizing our arms here. And then we're going to move into the shoulder girdle. And what I'd like you to do is take your palms, press them against your thighs like so. In fact, think about you're trying to really press your palms into your thighs the entire time. This is going to keep your elbows from flaring out to the side. And it's going to allow us to get very specific with the shoulder girdle. So we're simply just going to roll the shoulders in a nice big circle, nice and slowly like so. And again, as we're doing this, we're pressing the hands into your thighs. That's going to keep your arms right by your side, like a toy soldier. Good. Now that we're rolling our shoulders, we just want to try to make the shoulder rolls as big as possible. So the shoulders come forward, then up as high as possible, then back, squeeze those shoulder blades together, and then reach those fingers for the floor. We'll go one more time in this direction, bring the shoulders forward, and then up, and then squeeze those shoulder blades together, and then really reach for the floor. Good. Here, let's change direction, okay? So let's pull the shoulders back, squeeze those shoulder blades together, then really try to shrug those shoulders up towards your ears, and then pull the shoulders forward and reach down. Good, let's do that again. So squeezing the shoulder blades together, pull the shoulders back, lift the shoulders up, roll them forward, and then really reach for the floor with those fingers. Good, one more time here. Rolling back, coming up and forward, and then down. Great. So then let's do a little bit extra for your shoulder girdle here. Let's take our hands, let's slide the hands up your back. Try to bring your hands as close to your heart as you possibly can. And then we'll do the shoulder rolls again. Okay? This is going to restrict our range of motion,
but it's going to allow us to get stronger and also develop better coordination of the shoulder girdle in general. Okay, so just slowly start to roll those shoulders the best that you can. And you might start to hear your shoulders clicking as you do this. So similar to the wrist, just go nice and slow if you're feeling a lot of clicking going on. Just giving your body an opportunity to learn how to coordinate those bones a little bit better. Good, let's change direction. And let's try to expand that circle a little bit more. So it's a restricted position, but just work a little bit bigger, and it's really the intention of working bigger which is key here. Good. So please also keep the movements nice and slow. Excellent. From there we have another position. We're going to bring the hands behind the head like so. But what I'd like you to do in this position here is pull your chin back in towards your Adam's apple, and that's going to help stabilize your neck as we do these shoulder rolls here. So I like to focus on moving the armpits forward, up, back, and down. And that helps me to understand how I'm trying to move through my shoulders here. It's the same exercise as the other two positions. Okay. Again, we're going nice and slowly and just trying to bring the shoulders forward, then up, then back, and down. We'll go one more time in this direction. Perfect. And then let's switch direction. Let's go the other way. And just like the knee circles and the hip circles, if you could slow yourself down just a little bit more, we'll develop a little more resiliency and strength in all the positions of this circle that we're making. Good. One more time here. Let's see if we could go just a little bit bigger, a hair bigger all the way around the circle. Excellent. Okay, so then we'll focus working through the arms into the shoulder capsule. So we'll take your arms, we'll cross your arms. Your fingers are literally going to try to touch either side of the room. We're scissoring our arms. And once we're here, let's squeeze the scissor close for 1 full second. Good. And then let's open up, let's reach back as far as you can. Try to touch the wall behind you, keep reaching back for 1 full second. Good. Let's scissor the arms again. Put the other arm on top and squeeze across for 1 full second here. Perfect. And then let's go ahead, let's open up, let's reach back, keep reaching back for 1 full second. Good, let's do that 2 more times. Let's scissor your arms, switch your arms, other arm on top. Reaching across your body, keep squeezing that scissor close for 1 full second. And then open up, trying to touch the wall behind you, keep reaching back for 1 full second. Good, last time, scissor your arm, switch arms, other arm on top. Keep squeezing that scissor close for 1 full second. And then go ahead and open up again. Perfect. Okay. So then we're going to go into shoulder flexion and shoulder extension. And I'll give you an option here to do it in the bent over position. So you start working against gravity and you start developing a little bit more strength here. So if you're in a bent over position, you want to also zip up your core muscles here, zip up your abdominals like you're wearing a really tight jacket so that you're not over taxing your lower back, that your abdominal muscles are supporting your lower back. And then once you're here, we'll go ahead and reach up and forward like we're saying touchdown. And then fingers are trying to touch the sky for 1 full second. Then we'll bring the arms down, we'll reach behind us like we're about to dive into a swimming pool for a race. Lift those arms up as high as you can, keep lifting up for 1 full second. Good, let's go back to shoulder flexion. So saying touchdown again. Fingers reaching up toward the ceiling, keep reaching up for 1 full second. And then we'll bring the arms down. We'll reach behind us like we're diving into a swimming pool. Reach those hands up as high as you can. Keep reaching up for 1 full second. Good. 1 more time in each direction. So reaching forward and up. Fingers trying to touch the sky for 1 full second. And then reaching down and back. Keep lifting up those hands. Lift up your shoulders too if you can. 1 full second here. Excellent. Okay, so after all that, then we could try to connect those 4 positions, and we can make a nice big circle like so. Alternatively, I'll give you the option to do it in a bent over position too, so you're working against gravity. So if you're doing a bent over position, it's going to look like this. You're going to cross your arms and then reach up overhead, and then slowly reach out to the side, and then reach all the way behind you. Bring your hands to your back pockets. Once your hands come to your back pockets, just reverse your circle, reaching out to the side, then reaching overhead, and then crossing your arms again. Good, let's do that 2 more times. So cross those arms, then reach up overhead like you're saying touchdown, then out to the side like you're an airplane, and then bring those hands all the way towards your back pocket. Once you're there, reverse direction. Bring your hands back to that airplane position, then reaching overhead like you're saying touchdown, and then scissor your arms and down. Good, we'll do it 1 more time. And try to bring those hands up towards the sky a little bit higher. So scissor your arms and then really reach up towards the ceiling. Keep reaching those hands up towards the ceiling the entire time. And then finally bring your hands to your back pocket. Once you're there, we'll slowly reverse. Keep lifting those hands up towards the ceiling as you bring your hands out to the side and then reaching overhead and then scissor your arms again. Excellent. Well done. Good, so then let's go focus on the spine. And if you have a yoga strap, go ahead and grab it. Well, we'll use the yoga strap to help loosen up the neck a little bit more as we articulate the neck. So we're just going to stand on this yoga strap. And then we're going to basically walk the hands down the strap, and that's going to help anchor the shoulders down. Good, then what I'd like you to do is find your sternum, lift your sternum up. So you feel like you're walking around like you're really proud right now. Proud like Superman. Good, then once we're here, we want to keep the chest lifted, we want to keep the shoulders down. We're going to slowly nod the head yes, like we started at the beginning of class. So just look down the ridge of your nose and try to look into your heart the best that you can. And then slowly reverse it. Take your eyes up towards the ceiling. And think about being tall through your spine as you look up and back. We'll do this 3 times. So let's tuck the chin again. Look down the ridge of your nose. Look into your heart. Really try to pull the chin into your Adam's apple the best that you can. And then reversing. Lifting those eyes up towards the ceiling. Trying to look up and back. Good. 1 more time. Looking down the ridge of your nose. Looking into your heart the best that you can. Pull the chin in towards your Adam's apple. And then slowly reverse. Lift those eyes up towards the ceiling. Look up and back. Good. And then come to neutral here. Good. So now I'd like you to focus on the top of your head here. We're going to try to bring the top of your head over to one side without collapsing the side of your neck. So a lot of times we'll do this where we're just pulling the ear down to the shoulder. We actually want to keep that long through here. So think about the top of the head going over to the wall and that you're staying long through your neck. Okay. So again, we'll keep the shoulders locked down and just take the top of the head over to one side the best that you can. And then come back to center. And then to the other side. And back to center. Good. Let's do that again. So reaching the top of your head over to the side the best that you can. And then coming back to center, and then to the other side. Perfect. 1 more time each way. So top of the head over to the side, then back to center, and then over to the other side. Perfect. Good. So then from here, we're going to try to keep the shoulders still by holding on to the strap. We'll take the nose, we'll just rotate the nose to the right as far as we can. And then back to center, and then rotate to the left as far as possible. And back to center. Great. If you could also squeeze your shoulder blades together as you're doing this, this is going to really help keep the shoulders nice and still. So again, let's take the nose over to the right as far as possible. And then back to center, and then over to the left. Perfect. We'll do it 1 more time each way.
So rotating to your right, squeezing those shoulder blades to help keep the shoulders nice and still. And then coming back to center, and then over to the left, squeezing the shoulder blades together. And back to center. Good. So then we'll combine those three movements. We'll basically make a nice big circle with the nose. So let's tuck the chin. Let's bring the nose down towards your heart. Then slowly bring the nose over to one shoulder. Then lift that nose up towards the ceiling. And then take the nose over towards the other shoulder. And then bring the nose back down towards your heart. And once you're at that starting position, we'll change. We'll go in the opposite direction. So we'll go back to the shoulder we just came from. And we'll come up towards the ceiling with the nose. And then over towards the other shoulder. And then back down towards your heart. Good. Let's go for a second round here. Let's try to be nice and smooth now. So smooth is really an intention where you kind of feel like you're just melting from one position to the other all the way around the circle. So just try to be as smooth as you can, and that's just going to increase muscle activation and improve coordination through the neck, which is great because when we spend a lot of time doing repetitive movements like looking at a screen, our muscles really get tied in or habituated to only a few positions. So if we can do these circles and being smooth, we're opening up more possibilities for how we can move our neck, and we're undoing that repetitive strain. Okay, let's do it one more time, and let's see if we could go a little bit bigger. Okay, let's just see if we bring that nose a little bit closer towards your heart, and then a little bit closer over towards your shoulder, and then a little higher up towards the ceiling. And if you can stay smooth as you're trying to go a little bit bigger, that's even better. Over towards the other shoulder. And then back down towards that heart. And then we'll change direction. We'll go back to the shoulder you just came from. Just asking for a little bit more if it's possible today. Then lifting up towards the ceiling a little bit higher. And then over towards the other shoulder. And then slowly coming back down towards your heart. Right after that, we'll place that yoga strap down, and if you have a yoga block, go ahead, grab it. We'll work through the thoracic spine, and we'll also do that segmentation too. So with the yoga block, all I'd like you to do is hug the yoga block into your heart, like so. Then I want you to imagine you have that belt buckle on. Turn the belt buckle up. We're trying to keep the pelvis still here. In this position, I just want you to fold forward, try to get your heart on top of the yoga block, like so. And then reverse, try to lift the yoga block up over your heart, like so. Good, we'll do this 2 more times. Think about exhaling as you fold. Try to get your heart on top of that yoga block. And then go ahead and lift that yoga block up. And inhale. Good, 1 more time. Exhale, folding. Heart on top of that yoga block, the best that you can. And then reversing, inhale, lifting that yoga block up over your heart, the best that you can. Perfect. Okay, then I'd like you to bring your feet nice and wide. That's going to help keep your pelvis from twisting here. Okay, and then we're going to take the yoga block left and right as far as possible. So exhale and take the yoga block to your right as far as you can. And then come back to center. And then let's take it to the left as far as possible. Perfect. And back to center. Good. Stay nice and tall through the spine as you rotate. So let's do it again. To the right, stay nice and tall. And then back to center. And then to the left, stay nice and tall. Good. 1 more. Let's go a little bit further. At the end, exhale out all the breath and see if that helps you to twist a little bit further. So exhale out all that breath. Then come back to center, and then to the other side. Excellent. Good, so now let's combine those 2 exercises, and let's make a nice big circle with this yoga block. So let's fold forward, then take the yoga block to the right, then slowly lift that yoga block up over your heart, and then take it over to the left, and then fold forward again. And then once you're back at that starting position, change directions like we did with those neck circles. Go back to the same side you just came from, then lift that yoga block up over your heart, then over to the right, and folding forward again. Good. Second time around, like the neck, let's try to be nice and smooth as we're doing this. Okay, and that's really just set the intention and try to feel as if you're melting from one position to the next all the way around the circle. And then on the way back, we'll try to be nice and smooth all the way back. Excellent, everyone. Good. On this last round, what I'd like you to do is just imagine that you're tall. Imagine that you're 10 feet tall as you're doing this, and that's just going to help your spine to maintain its length as opposed to collapsing around the circle. So we're 10 feet tall, we're smooth, just trying to make a nice big circle with that yoga block. And then once you're back in that starting position, we'll reverse the circle, staying nice and smooth, staying 10 feet tall, all the way around. Excellent. And then we'll place that yoga block down. And then we're going to end our little routine today with some lateral lunges, right? Just to help load up the legs and load up the hips, because we really didn't get a lot of different articulation opportunities with the hips. So the lateral lunge is just to help open up the groin and help also fire up our glutes, especially, which is good if we sit on them a lot. So I'm going to use the foam roller here for support. It's not really about a fitness training here. It's really just trying to get into position and let your body experience that position, because the chances are we don't really experience these lateral lunges that much throughout the day. So all I'd like you to do is go ahead and just lunge to one side, try to come down as low as you can, and then go ahead and press yourself back up. And then we'll do the same thing to the other side. Lunging down, try to get as low as you can, and then pressing back up. Good. This time I'd like you to try to keep your heart up as you lunge forward and try to reach your hands forward. That's going to help keep the heart up as you get as low as you possibly can. And then come back to center. And then same thing to the other side. Sitting the hips back, trying to reach the hands forward to help keep that sternum up. Perfect. One more each side. If you like to take the hand, reach across your body as you do so. This is just going to help open up that upper back a little bit more. And then we'll go to the other side. Same thing, reaching across. And coming back. Excellent. So after this routine, hopefully you feel like everything's active. You also feel tall and that you have more space in your body. And that's the intention of this routine, this restoration routine.